And I'm like, I'm not doing any guessing. I'm hiring even 5 people, even 10 people. It's going to cost me a lot in those 2 or 3 months, but they're going to do some work at the end of the day. The end goal is just to save a lot of time and energy from your entire team on the recruitment process. And second, give them a job. Because when you give them a job, you can see how they behave, how they communicate, how they correspond to their supervisor, how they talk with their peers. You can really see their character. Because when I know that I'm on an interview process with you, Sean, I can fake it. In the expensive services, relationship is king. Positioning yourself as an authority in the field and connecting with people, because when people need a new website or something expensive, they never try to just find a completely stranger. They first try to see in their network, who do I know that could actually do that for me? And our goal is to actually put our clients into the circles of their ideal clients. So when the need arises, if it's not present yet, they have to be the go-to guy for either websites or for consulting or for coaching.
Here's another question. How did you ensure that the trees in your forest don't get burned down or chopped or mutilated as you zoom out? Like, because you're gonna get people and you're gonna tell them, hey, take care of this tree. Hey, take care of that tree. How do you make sure it doesn't get burned down?
Well, Sean, we burned out a lot of trees in order to figure that out at the end of the day. I think that I really had a hard time finding the right project managers. I mean, yeah, you can have a project manager, or you could have the project manager that really takes the team as their family. And what I've realized that I can grow as fast as my team managers can grow. Because if there are just some people that like, these are my tasks and that's it, every time there is a fire, they're going to call you. I have a fire, you figure it out. You're the CEO, you're the founder. On the other hand, I have really entrepreneurial managers that like a problem comes out, first they'll try to solve it. If they can, then they'll come to me. And it is a gradual process, because at the end of the day, I trust that project management team completely. And it is really a decentralized process, Sean. What I've realized that a typical owner has a centralized power and nothing is being moved until get the blessing or approval from the CEO or the founder. And you're the bottleneck. Every decision needs to go through you. Every small tweak needs to go through you. And I told you I was the lazy guy. I said I wanted reverse engineering. I want the completely opposite way. The project manager, the moment she gets the role as a project manager, she has the complete authority over the execution. She wants to change the direction of the service improvement, it's hers. She wants to hire additional people, she can just put a job ad, she does the interviews, she hires them. She's not happy with someone, she's firing them. So she has the complete autonomy over the project and execution. It is same from the marketing and sales people, the managers. They have the authority to define the direction and choose on their own who they want to work with, rather than me imposing who they need to work and then ask for results. It also helps a lot that we actually put a 6 months plan. So every 6 months, and now is the 30th of June, so that means that we are now making the plan for the next 6 months. As a core team, we get together and we're saying, okay, what's the goal for the next 6 months? Project manager, we have the holy trio. Can we improve the customer relationship? How can we improve the HR? How can we improve the services? Marketing, how can we introduce a few additional things like my own podcast, or add a newsletter, or add something new? Sales, how can we actually add additional sales channels, whether we're going to introduce webinars or whether we're going to introduce a completely new sales channel. And all that is in this 6 months path, and we never managed to achieve everything. I would be surprised if we managed to do it, but at the end of the day, even if we try to achieve 50, 60, 70%, it's much better rather than not having any plan at all, because then you have no idea what you want in the first place. That's the key thing. And also what you managed to achieve. And then after 6 months, we said, okay, we did 70%. It's still good. So it means that we're 70% better than the previous 6 months. Where are we now? Let's try to see where we want to go now. And I think these 6 month strategic plans gives them the independence, because on these 6 months, we're like, well, marketing, what are your plans for these 6 months? Sales, what are your plans for these 6 months? Operations, what is your plan? And then I just let them do their job. I don't get involved. I don't intervene. Of course, as a coach, as a mentor, I'm here whenever someone gets stuck or needs an opinion or reality check. It's like, Dancho, we're considering between this and this. What do you think? Of course, at the end of the day, it's my company. I really had to help them. But I also give myself a 6 months plan. So it's not like I'm a lazy boss sitting somewhere on a beach and everybody are just killing themselves out there. It doesn't work like that. If you want a leadership, you need to be on the front line. But my activities are usually different. For me, it's like, okay, how can I grow BSB exponentially in the next 6 months? And it works. Like, we have the outreach. So we're now saying, well, Dancho is writing a book, so it should be out in August. It's already signed with a UK publishing house. So it took me like 2 years to write it, honestly. But I will need a book funnel. I will need to figure out how to promote it and everything. Then I want to add another agency, which will be a content agency. And that it was not our intention at all. But most of the high ticket clients were like, well, in addition to the outreach, we actually need some content to support the outreach as well. So I said, okay, let's build another agency. Then I want to enter into the coaching and consulting, like done with you, because the book is do it yourself. So agencies are usually more expensive, but if you cannot afford it, you can do the done with you. But if you want, you can just buy the book or an academy and learn it on your own. And these are really, as you said, looking the whole forest. We want to hustle the B2B outreach and prospecting segment, but we want to target the done for you, like agencies that you just pay and they take care of everything. We want to hustle the done with you, where we're going to have several coaching programs that you can just choose what's the right for you. And the do it yourself, which will be a mix of books, academies, videos, webinars, and everything. But everything is around the same umbrella, the BSB branding, and everything is about B2B lead generation for high ticket service providers. So as you can see, this is really at least our forest, which we're not going to do it in 6 months. It's going to take a few years to cover all that. But since we have the few years plan, it's much easier. Well, in these 6 months, what we can actually do to get closer to the 4 or 5 years plan. Yeah, every 6 months we are enforced to step back, look at the whole forest, whether we still want to be in the same direction or things change, we want to switch a bit of the direction, and then go back into the trees and do the everyday hustle. But at least every 6 months we step back, try to see the whole forest. And also every month we're just trying to see, okay, where we are. Did we get lost? Did we change the direction or anything? And it's really not an operational plan, but it is like a general guidance. We don't do like 6 months, month one, I'm going to do this, month two, I'm going to do that. It's really bad planning. For us, it's like, well, we want to achieve this in 6 months. Every month we're saying, well, this month I have too many different activities, so I'll just take very bit from it. Or next month I'm a bit free, I'm going to take this, and this for this month. But 4 years plan divided into 6 months plan, but not in advance. So every 6 months we decide what we're going to involve into 1 month plan, where every month we think, okay, new month, what are we going to take from the 6 month plan that can actually be done here?
That's a really good answer. One thing that I think is missing and a lot of people who are tuned in might be wondering about is how do I look for, so you mentioned that you burned a lot of trees actually trying to figure out how to zoom out well, and now I'm wondering, how do you find those right project managers that you mentioned earlier? Because I'm sure you found a lot of wrong ones. How did you get the right ones?
Very hard. For me, at the beginning, maybe that's juniority and then becoming really an expert in the field, but you do a lot of interviews and some tests and personality and stuff just to get the right guy. And at the end of the day, it's not the right guy. And I give up. I gave up on trying to find the right guy. Now my different strategy is I grab 4 or 5 people, I start work with them for 3 months, and then I see what they're made of. Because on your CV, you can put so fantastic stuff on all the magic that you've delivered and very, very well polished, or on the interview, because you know that you're being observed, you can start pretending, faking it even. So you cannot really evaluate whether someone is good or not. So our whole logic is that take them, work 3 months with them. You've realized if someone is sitting next to you for 3 months, you're going to understand their character, their soul, their intentions, because you cannot fake for 3 months. It's too long period. And what we were starting doing here in BSB is like we actually take 5, 7 interns, put them for 3 months, and after the 3 months we take one or two. And we know that that's the best from the best, because you got 50 application, you take 5 to 7 people, you take one or two. And we don't hire managers, we grow managers. So from the people, someone will grow or show some interest in marketing, we're moving them in marketing. They'll show interest in sales, we're moving them to sales. And it's really evolution rather than a quick fix. And it's much longer, it's much more expensive when you think about it, because I need a lot of time to grow people. But at the end of the day, I tried every other way. I tried hiring experts in their field, and then they come with a big ego behind them. Like, you know what? I have 10 years of experience. I know how to do it. We're like, well, look at the market. The market needs this. It's not whether what you want or you don't want. The market needs this. If you can fulfill it, perfect. If not, there's no point. And that's the only way where we said, you know what? We're going to grab people and maybe make a mistake and learn fast and fire the people that are not good, rather than spending 3 months just thinking about who is the right candidate to hire. So maybe it's more lean, more agile approach, where instead of doing like a strong hard plans, you just like take few, we'll learn on the way, we see whether we're a good match or not. If you're good, you stay. If you're not, thank you very much. But if you see, we also do the agile way even on our strategic plans. We don't plan 5 years what's going to happen as a waterfall project management. It's more general direction. In 6 months, still a general direction. On a monthly, let's try to solve this and this. And it is a life matter. It changes. I mean, of course, if we have too many clients, we're going to slow down on the growth, because we have to serve the clients. If there are not that many clients, we can focus more on the growth and actually add additional services. But back to the HR, I gave up on finding the right project manager. My alternative is start growing your ideal project manager.
That's amazing. So we take a very different approach here in SEO Hacker, where we actually have a very long hiring process, and it's worked really well for us. But right now that we are experiencing really good growth, I think we might have to do it like how you do it, where we were hiring.
How long is the current hiring process, Sean?
Oh, the cycle is around 3 months. That's too long, I guess. We have a 7-step hiring process where they go through, and I'm the final step, so that's like 6 to 7 people that they have to go through, and we're rethinking it now. We're rethinking it.
Out of curiosity, isn't it even cheaper to hire them on some small project for that 3 months, which of course you're not going to make a lot of money, but if they need to go through 6, 7 people, and good people, good quality people that you trust, it means that instead of they focusing on doing their job, they also need to spend time on the recruitment process. And in 3 months, instead of figuring who is the best, within 3 months you actually gave them work and you pay them for 3 months. And of course, maybe at the end of first month you'll see 1 or 2 guys are not good, thank you very much. On the second month you're considering bit 1 or 2, but I've made mistakes where I had assumption that guy would never fit into the BSB culture. And I was surprised that at the second month, they blossom into perfect candidate. And honestly, that's why maybe I said, you know what? I'm not a psychologist, but even a psychologist trying to just estimate, try to guess. And I'm like, I'm not doing any guessing. I'm hiring even 5 people, even 10 people. It's going to cost me a lot in those 2 or 3 months, but they're going to do some work at the end of the day. The end goal is just to save a lot of time and energy from your entire team on the recruitment process. And second, give them a job. Because when you give them a job, you can see how they behave, how they communicate, how they correspond to their supervisor, how they talk with their peers. You can really see their character. Because when I know that I'm on an interview process with you, Sean, I can fake it. I'm so teamwork, open, communicative, collaborative. I mean, there are a lot of keywords that I can Google up and put it in my CV.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I love what I'm hearing. I'm learning from this. And we are always, experimentation is one of our core values. And I think it might be high time when we experiment on our hiring process. Fine. We might be taking too long. I'm going to check this out in my Exicom and see if it.
I'm sure that experimentation is key to every entrepreneur and startups. I mean, even with SEO, with everything that you do, you have to do either A/B testing or do some, let's try like this, let's try like that. Well, just I'm urging all the entrepreneurs to keep the same mindset in absolutely everything. In service development, let's experiment. Let's check out the market feedback. Finance, let's experiment. Hire an expensive guy, hire a cheap guy, get some interns and see what works for them. Because I've realized that all the theory in the world will not solve that particular exact same scenario that you are. Like, but my unique scenario is like this, X, Y, Z. And you can also experiment with HR. You can, of course, you need to experiment with marketing and see what resonates and what not. But I was recently experimenting with sales, which was really also interesting topic, Sean, because we had an offering. It was X amount of money, and we were getting 1 or 2 clients per month. I broke it into 2 stages, the same price. I didn't change everything. It was just planning stage, execution stage. We started closing 8 clients per month. Same activities, same pricing, just different presentation on the proposal. And that's like 4 times more clients just by changing the thing. I was like, wow, I was not aware that the clients were perceiving the proposal in this way rather than in that way. And if we didn't experiment, it wouldn't succeed. But of course, when you experiment, you might make mistakes. But I think that's the whole goal of experimentation. If it works, you're happy, you've found a new way, better. If it doesn't work, you've learned another lesson that you know now why not to do it like that anymore. But when you experiment, it's a win-win situation.
For sure, for sure. Oh, hey, and since you're here, can you do me a favor? Can you hit on the subscribe button and hit the bell button and select all notifications so that whenever we have a new video, you're gonna be the first one to know. Until then, keep leading.
You don't need to say anything, okay? Sometimes people want to say something and they're being more of a hindrance than a help. So when someone is going through loss or grief, it's just very important for you to just listen. Listen to them without any judgment. And when it's time for you to give advice, ask them.